Hey guys, welcome to the video. It's Anna and we are back in the college dorm. I came back about a week ago and I'm finally filming my first video back here. It's gonna be a book review video of the books that I read in 2021 from June to December. I also did a mid-year book review in the summer of 2021, so that was the books from January to June. So go watch that if you haven't already after this video. I have my Goodreads app open to remember all the books I read. I think, let me count how many I read. I had a goal to read one book every month, so we're gonna be talking about 8 books in this video, starting in July. So in July, I read On All Fronts, The Education of a Journalist by Clarissa Ward. The book was a memoir about like how she got into the journalism field, and now she works at CNN, so she's like a pretty big reporter. Her job is to basically work on like war fronts and report what's going on like as like stuff is happening right behind her back. I'm just gonna read a little snippet from Goodreads. It says, "On All Fronts is the riveting account of Ward's singular career and of journalism in this age of extremism." In the book, she talks about how after 9/11 she decides that she wants to go into the journalism field and report on like major incidents, and she goes into different countries like Russia, China, Syria, I think Afghanistan. I rated this book 4 stars because I thought her story was really good. I'm not like totally interested in war related stuff, but I thought that she wrote the book really well and the stories were like crazy. So the second book that I read is kind of like, this one doesn't even really count. This one shouldn't count. It's called 14 Ways to Die by Vincent Ralph. My friend and I were at Barnes & Noble and we were just getting coffee after shopping. At the Starbucks area in Barnes & Noble, there's a sign that said, if you buy a drink, you get this book for $5. So we were like, oh, that's kind of a good deal. We might as well get it. And we each paid $2.50, and then we just decided to both read it. I don't think she's read it yet because like I didn't give it a good review. It's also a young adult book, and this girl, her mom is killed by this serial killer, but her mom was like the first victim of the serial killer. This girl at the same time is also involved in this reality TV show where it follows her life and the life of 4 other people like 24/7, and she like auditions for it. And then they like go throughout the book and eventually it turns into like this Scooby-Doo mystery thing where they like have to find out who the serial killer is, and it's like one of the people that they know. Oh wait, I wrote a review for this one. I wasn't expecting much, but hey, it was only $5. I just didn't think the writing of this book was as good as it could have been. Firstly, I went throughout the whole book without knowing the hair color or eye color of any of the characters. I also kept forgetting that the main character and her friends were literally 17-year-olds because their thoughts and dialogue were like 5th grade level. There are also so many cringy lines. I don't remember any of them, luckily, but I remember sitting in my bed reading this book and being like, ah. I'm not gonna like go any further into this book because like you don't need to read it anyway. The book that I read in September was Before I Fall, or no, I think I read this like in August. I'd been wanting to read this book forever because, I don't know, it just had always been on my list and I never read it. I rated it 5 stars. If you don't know what it's about or you haven't watched the movie, it's basically about this girl, Sam, that lives her life this one day and then she dies in a car accident after a party. But then the next morning she wakes up and it's the same day again. It's kind of like a Groundhog Day type thing. So then the whole book is basically just she lives that exact same day like I think 7 more times. All these like plot twists are revealed and everything ends up not being how you think it would be. And this book takes place in a high school and Sam is like one of the popular people. I was kind of like unsure of if I would like this book because of how like it repeats the same thing every day. I kind of thought it would get boring, but it definitely did not. So if you have not read this book yet, you definitely should. I checked off another of those same genre books that I've been wanting to read for a while, All the Right Places. I rated this one 4 out of 5 stars. I think it just like wasn't fully there for me. But it was really good, so you should definitely read it if you've not read it. I haven't watched the Netflix film because I heard it wasn't good, but I don't know. It's basically these 2 high schoolers that meet on the top of a bell tower, and they're both kind of like contemplating life, and they both like convince each other to go back down. And they end up working on a school project together, which is to like go see the like wonders of Indiana, I think it's Indiana. And this is from the like back of the book. But as Violet's world grows, Finch's begins to shrink. and then you'll just have to see what happens after that. Yeah, that was such a good book. I think I read it in like 4 days, which is one of my records because I'm a very slow reader, if you don't already know. The last book that's gonna be in this video is my most extreme record. I read it in like 1 day, so you'll have to stay tuned to see what that book is. So in August, I read An Anonymous Girl, which my friend Carolina let me borrow because she said it was really good. I thought it was pretty good, but I rated it 3 stars because, I don't know, like, something about it I didn't like, but I don't remember what. I'll just read the back of the book explanation because I don't think I can do it better than this. Seeking women ages 18 to 32 to participate in a study on ethics and morality. Generous compensation. Anonymity guaranteed. When Jessica Ferris signs up for a psychology study conducted by the mysterious Dr. Shields, she thinks all she'll have to do is answer a few questions, collect her money, and leave. But as the questions grow more and more intense and invasive, and the sessions become outings where Jess is told what to wear and how to act, she begins to feel as though Dr. Shields may know what she's thinking and what she's hiding. As Jess's paranoia grows, it becomes clear that she can no longer trust what in her life is real and what is one of Dr. Shields' manipulative experiments. Gosh. Caught in a web of deceit and jealousy, Jess quickly learns that some obsessions can be deadly. I would definitely read it. It was definitely enjoyable, and Carolina rated it 5 stars probably because she said it was really good. There was a plot twist, but it didn't like get me as good as other plot twists have gotten me. I didn't like enjoy it that much, but looking back, it was interesting. Like, I definitely haven't read a book like it before. I think we skip all the way to like November because I'd barely read anything in college. I am gonna read now. I just didn't read anything last quarter because I was like getting used to stuff. But I started this book in October and I finished it in November. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. I read this book because I go to college in Savannah, and this book is a true story about Savannah, and it's like so good. I don't know like how good it would be to somebody who doesn't live in Savannah or like hasn't been to Savannah before. Living here, it's like so interesting that all this happened and it's like a true story. So this guy named, well, the author, John Berendt, he came down to Savannah to, I don't know, just to like write some stuff about Savannah and explore the city, but he ended up being so interested in it that he stayed here like for a longer time, like 10 years maybe. It's split into 2 parts. So the first half, each chapter is about a different person or like story that happens in Savannah. He talks about like Lee Adler who like revived the city and kind of brought tourism back and everything. It's interesting because this takes place in the 80s, I think, but everything about it just seems like it's older, which surprised me. Because they would have like little clubs, the Married Women's Club. I just like can't picture people in the 80s doing this. I don't know. But then the interesting part is what happens in the second half. I'm looking up the movie cast to get the names. Okay, so basically this guy named Jim Williams, who's like one of the richest people in Savannah, and he has this huge house. He lives in the Mercer house, which is one of the huge houses here. He's suspected of killing this guy named Danny. There's this whole like trial case where basically they didn't know if Jim shot first or if Danny shot first. And they're trying to figure that out through like all the clues found in the room that the murder happened. They have to do a ton of retrials and all this crazy stuff is revealed. What I wrote in my Goodreads review, this is what like shocked me. Like, it's so interesting. The very last sentence of the book is just crazy. Like, I can't believe that it's real. And it just like shows that Savannah is like so haunted. It's crazy. A book that I read in December, this one is a 2-star read for me. Popisho. This book, I just don't get it. My brother read it and he loved it, like, but I get why he loved it because the writing is so good. My hair, okay. The writing is so good. Like, I totally get why people love it and why it has like over 4 stars on Goodreads. The book is 450 pages and literally nothing happens at all. The things that do happen, the author doesn't explain why they happened, but I guess she didn't want to because it's a magical realism book, so it's like just supposed to be like that. So I wrote this I wrote this review on Goodreads. I said, I really appreciate the writing. It's so unique and creative, but the plot is ras, which is one of the like bad words that is one of the fake words in the book, because the author basically wrote a bunch of new words that you had to kind of figure out like as you were reading the book. I feel like in this book you had to use a lot of context clues to like figure out what was happening, because it was written, like the writing is amazing. Like I can't even believe that somebody like could think of that. But also like it wasn't very reader friendly. I didn't know what was going on half of the time. But it's basically these people that live on an island named Popisho, and everybody's born with like a gift. Encanto, it's like Encanto. Everybody has like a special gift that like benefits the community. And the highest honor is if you are the Mechanis, which is the chef, and they basically are always doing their chef things, and that's like their job. Everybody in the island gets to eat a meal from the chef at least once in their life. And so the story follows 3 people. Xavier's the chef, and then yeah, there's one random girl who has like a backstory with Xavier, and then there's the son of the governor. Yeah, the son of the governor. And it like rotates throughout the chapters, like their different stories and how they connect to each other. But like I kept reading the book expecting for it to go somewhere, but as I got past the halfway point, I realized it never would. There were so many lines that I read where I was like, wow, I need to remember this. This is amazing. But I was never wowed by the plot. There's one event that happens in this book that is very weird. And like, I don't know how the author thought of this. I don't know like why it happened. It just happened and everyone proceeded with their day. Nobody tried to figure out why it happened, so you'll just have to read the book to find out what happens. Like, I'm honestly glad I read the book, because it's like, it was interesting to like be like, what? But also I didn't think it was a good book. The last book that I read in December, which is the one I read in one day, is The Silent Patient. I love this book. This is like my new favorite book, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's my favorite book now. Yeah, we'll say that. I say that I read it in one day, but I basically read the majority of it in one day. I had only read 20 pages before the day that I read the majority of it. So if you haven't read this book already, which I'm sure most people have because it's just like one of the most popular books, it's basically about this book is crazy. This girl named Alicia, she's a famous painter and she's married to a fashion photographer. One evening, her husband Gabriel returns home late from a fashion shoot, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. So she basically refuses to talk for the next 6 years. One guy named Theo, he is a criminal psychotherapist, so he basically works with Alicia to try and get her to talk. But then I can't say much more than that because all these plot twists start to happen. And like, it's crazy. It is so crazy. Plot twists are like my favorite thing to read. I was like very pleasantly surprised because in this book, pretty much every chapter, they had really short chapters, which I love, and every chapter had like a kind of a plot twist after it, which is why I like wanted to keep reading the whole thing for the whole day. The plot twist in this book is better than any plot twist I've ever experienced. So those were the 8 books that I read this half of the year. Little sneak peek. I'm currently reading Love People Use Things by The Minimalists, so this will be my book for January, and I've got like a ton of books to read this year. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up or comment something to let me know if I should do more book videos. I can always do like a favorite books video, or I'll probably do another half-year book review in June. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next Friday with a brand new video. Bye guys.